Hey everyone, it's Dr. Teralyn, and you probably found me on kickoffyourdamnheels.com. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to be doing a presentation on sleep. So the majority of you probably have struggled with sleep in some way, shape, or form, whether it's not being able to fall asleep or not being able to stay asleep, or just getting up randomly throughout the night. I know I have struggled with sleep. My adrenal fatigue issues have really prevented me from getting some good sleep now and again. So I thought it would be a great idea to do a quick presentation about sleep. And in my profession, it's called actually sleep hygiene. So it's how I look at sleep hygiene, like how we can clean up our sleep, kind of like our own hygiene, right? So I'm going to be sharing the screen with you. And let's see, this is the first time I've ever done this, so let's hopefully that it will work. Here we go. All right, here we go. So again, I'm Dr. Teralyn, and I am a therapist by trade, but I work holistically with brain health to help people overcome anxiety and depression naturally. And in anxiety and depression, sleep is a big deal, so let's get to it. Oh. All right, I love this slide. It says, I like you and naps, because oftentimes if you're anything like me, around 2 o'clock, you kind of get pretty slumpy. And sometimes I could probably take a nap as frequently as I would love to. And on the weekends, I would find myself kind of napping through the weekends. And so that was a clue to me that things were a little bit out of balance. Here are the culprits of bad sleep. And I'm not sure what you can see here, but it starts up here on the top with tryptophan. And then it goes to 5-HTP and serotonin all the way down to melatonin. And most people think of melatonin as, if I have more melatonin, then I will sleep better, which can be true. However, if you are having trouble falling asleep, it might be a melatonin problem, which could then actually be a serotonin problem ultimately. So looking at serotonin, and tryptophan helps kind of create serotonin. Then we look over here to, you see the red words on the left, we've got iron, MTHF, which is methylated folate, vitamin B3, vitamin C, vitamin D, P5P, which is an activated B6, and SAMe. So those also need to be in place in order to get that serotonin to make melatonin. I'm continuing to move my screen around. So neurotransmitter imbalance is one of the keys to improving sleep. So the other one to think about is GABA. So if you lay down at night and your brain is now deciding it's going to be on and solving all the problems of the world, it might be a GABA issue. If you feel kind of wired and wound up, it could be a dopamine or adrenaline issue. And there are some pretty simple labs that I can do to help you figure out what the imbalance is and then work holistically to help it. Okay, so this is, I'm continuing to move myself down. This is actually my own neurotransmitter lab that I did about 5 years ago. And as you can see, and this is pretty close to what the labs look like today. They have changed just a little bit. There's a little bit more neurotransmitters on the lab today. But as you can see, my neurotransmitters, serotonin, dopamine, norepinephrine, epinephrine, were extremely low. So you look at the results, like 66.36, the reference range started at 74. So I was pretty tanked out in a lot of these neurotransmitters, except GABA. And remember the last screen, I said GABA is the one that my brain was just kind of on and thinking and worrying and things like that. So I look at this profile and I call this tired and wired. So I was so tired, I felt like I could sleep at any moment, but then when I would lay down, my brain was on and I couldn't fall asleep. All right, another culprit of bad sleep is adrenal fatigue. And adrenal fatigue impairs your ability to have a solid sleep-wake cycle. It is, it measures your cortisol. So when your cortisol is at the highest for the day, that's when you kind of wake up bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. And then it kind of falls on a curve, and I'll show you this in a minute. It falls down on a curve throughout the day, and at the end of the day, the cortisol is the lowest and your melatonin is the highest, which helps you fall asleep. If that cortisol curve is off, you're going to have trouble with your sleep-wake pattern. So here is this was my cortisol graph. Again, this was about 5 years ago. The dark green is where the cortisol is supposed to be. So this was a 4-point, 1, 2, 3, 4-point cortisol graph. And as you can see, my noon was extremely low. Again, they're all supposed to be in this dark green right here. I could wake up, but this was the brightest I would be in the morning, which wasn't so bright. And then by noon, I was literally losing it. And then I would get a little bit of a second wind by evening. And at nighttime, I was having trouble sleeping. So I just love this. Me, let me sleep. Brain, LOL, no. Let's stay awake and remember every stupid decision you've ever made in your life. Me, okay. Sometimes that's the way I felt. All right. So another culprit of bad sleep is blood sugar stabilization. So if you wake up at like 2 o'clock in the morning, that could be your adrenaline kicking in. So what happens is when your blood sugar dips down low, your adrenaline starts pumping. And it doesn't matter if it's 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, you will wake up. Adrenaline does not care. So part of getting good sleep is having proper blood sugar stabilization. So having a protein snack before bed or even taking the amino acid L-glutamine seems to help. And alcohol also causes blood sugar crashes, and we're going to talk about that in a slide later on. Although I love this picture because it's coffee, and you all know that I love my coffee. It's right here, right? But caffeine is actually a big culprit of bad sleep. And so a lot of people think, well, I just drink a few cups of coffee, you know, but a lot of people actually drink caffeine throughout the day to kind of mitigate the symptoms of bad sleep, right? So by 2 o'clock in the afternoon, if you're feeling really slumpy, you might grab a Monster energy drink or some caffeinated beverage to help you out. And then we've started the whole cycle all over again. So let's talk about how caffeine gets metabolized. So drinking 1 cup of caffeinated beverage 6 hours before bed reduces your deep sleep by 1 hour. And I don't know if you're anything like me, but I need to have as many hours of deep sleep as I possibly can. So even the reduction of 1 hour seems like a bad idea. The half-life of a cup of caffeine is 3 to 5 hours. I'm going to show you what that means. Drinking 200 milligrams of caffeine at 2 o'clock, by 8 o'clock, you'll still have 100 milligrams in your system. By 2 a.m., you'll still have 50 milligrams in your system. By 8 a.m., you'll still have 25 milligrams of that 2 o'clock cup of caffeine that you had. What are you doing at 8 o'clock in the morning again? You're reaching for more. So you're never fully metabolizing this caffeine. It's always impacting your system. Caffeine has a stimulating effect on your system, especially if you have anxiety. One of the first things I tell people to do is cut out caffeine. So there's a role of caffeine on your adrenal system. So your adrenals sit on top of your kidneys, and they're responsible for cortisol, which is your stress hormones, and the sleep-wake cycle. Remember the slide before. When you're tired, you reach for caffeine in the morning or in the afternoon, but your adrenals need to do the work themselves to raise the cortisol. So caffeine impedes the work of your adrenals. So one thing that I tell people to do is if you have trouble being bright-eyed and bushy-tailed in the morning, don't reach for caffeine right away. Instead, wait a couple hours, but then think back on the slide I just said about the half-life of caffeine. So be sure that you're not chug-a-lugging down a whole bunch of caffeine after that first couple of hours, right? Another thing to do to get yourself kind of perky in the morning is within 15 minutes of waking up, do some squats and do a lot of squats. Get that heart rate pumping. Now, you can do squats before you sit on the toilet. You can do squats when you brush your teeth. There's all kinds of ways that you can do those squats, but get that adrenal system pumping first before you throw in caffeine. So alcohol is another culprit of bad sleep, and we do kind of live in a society where alcohol is prevalent, and so is drinking glasses of wine, especially for women, and that's fine. I look at things like this. It's a problem when it's a problem, and if it's impacting your sleep, then it's most likely a problem. The thing is that alcohol does help you fall asleep, all right? But that it doesn't end there. It impairs your REM sleep, it impairs your deep sleep, and it causes reactive hypoglycemia. So when you drink that alcohol, you might fall asleep, but all the phases of sleep are actually interrupted by that alcohol. So is your blood sugar. So that blood sugar will fall, adrenaline will kick back in again, and here we are waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning. So your sleep environment is also a culprit. So how cluttered is your bedroom? When you look around your bedroom, is it a place that you want to be in? Is it a place that is conducive to deep sleep? Or does it facilitate chaos? Do you like to be in your bedroom, or do you not like to be in your bedroom? And do you use your room only for sleep and sex, or do you use it for work? Do you use it for eating? Do you use it for family meetings? So really making that bedroom environment something that you enjoy being in and your body recognizes it as a place to sleep. This is not a picture of my bedroom or my kid's bedroom, but it might be something, this looks like a teenager's bedroom to me, and teenagers often have chaotic bedrooms. So think about your bed itself. Is your mattress comfortable? A lot of people will go to the doctor for bad sleep, and it's really not them, it's their mattress. Once I changed my mattress, my sleep became so much better. But mattresses are expensive. So if you find yourself like finding mattress toppers and all these things to try to get comfortable in bed, or you have like pressure points on your hips or your back at somewhere, like you wake up achy and just feel terrible, it could just be as simple as your mattress. How about your pillows? So I used to be the one that would buy $5 pillows because they were cheap, and before you knew it, I had like 6 pillows because they were all pancake pillows. Recently, we've decided to invest in some really good quality pillows, and I hate to say it, but price of pillows and quality does matter. You'll have your pillow for a long time, and if you have a pillow that is super comfortable, you might enjoy your sleep better. And your bedding too. Sorry about that. Go ahead and splurge on some really nice quality sheets, splurge on some really fluffy blankets, make it a place that you really enjoy being. All right, we're going to talk about some lights. So we've probably heard the whole blue and green light suppressing melatonin. So blue light actually suppresses melatonin more than green lights. And if you shut off all the lights in your bedroom and you look around and find all the light sources, not just blue and green, but light coming in through a window, light coming in through a hallway, that's really important that you find what your light sources are in your bedroom. So some light sources are blue lights, green lights. I put iPhone lights, but that's any phone light. Night lights that you might have, television lights you might have, cable box lights that you might have, screens, tablets, reading devices. We don't often read books anymore at night. We're often reading on a Kindle or a tablet or something like that, and that is blue light. So, and also light coming in from a shadeless window. I tell people, we have a street lamp right outside of our house that is like glaring. And now, they have LED lights for street lamps, and that makes it even worse. So making sure you have good quality shades over your window if you have a street lamp or some stream of light coming in there is very important. So tech and TV use before bed, we've probably all heard about this, but it is probably one of the hardest things for anyone to give up, and myself included. For many years, we've had the television in our bedroom, and it wasn't until recently where I pitched a holy shit fit, and we've been doing no TV in the bedroom for probably about a month, and it has helped my sleep tremendously. A tech and TV before bed interrupts your circadian rhythm. That cortisol melatonin interplay, it affects that. It interrupts your serotonin production. Serotonin has a lot to do with mood flexibility. So we all want mood flexibility. And also, when our serotonin is impacted, then our melatonin will be impacted. Makes you stay up later and your brain doesn't shut down. So rule of thumb is to cut out tech time 1 to 2 hours before bed. And I know that's tough. So think about an hour before bed, just kind of shut everything down and go to your bedroom. And if you have a partner that's in your bedroom, talk to them. Noise. So the phase impacted the most from noise is the falling asleep and beginning sleep phase. Noise can also impact sleep during sleep phase transitions, such as REM sleep to deep sleep. So, and I noticed that when our television was on as well, like I would wake up like 20 to 30 minutes into my sleep, and then I would wake up again. And so now I recognize that that was me waking up between sleep phase transitions. Noise can prevent you from falling asleep and can wake you up after you're already asleep. Temperature. So cooler environments promote a better sleep. What is a cooler environment? I like to sleep between 62 and 64 degrees. Anything more than that, and I am just a sweltering hot mess. You might find me having the fan on. So my husband and I are very different with that. Like I like a cooler, so I make sure that I have layers in the bed so I can adjust my own temperature. And he also has we have a heated mattress pad, so he uses his, I don't use mine. So culprits of bad sleep are also a routine. So having a consistent bedtime, excuse me, I still have a cold. Having a consistent bedtime routine is super important. So we do this with our children. Like we make sure, my kids are always like, brush your teeth, take a bath, have a book, and go to bed. Like that was what we did. And we did it at the same time every night. They had a set bedtime. They had a set wake up time. But as an adult, we don't often do that for ourselves. Having a consistent bedtime and having a consistent wake up time, keeping both of those consistent even on the weekends, particularly if you are having trouble with sleep. In an overcorrective state, go ahead and be consistent even on the weekends. So this is a nice way. On Sunday nights, I tend to have the hardest time sleeping. So here's a nice detox bath. If you want to keep it even more simple, what I do is I take a bath every Sunday night for about 40 minutes, and I throw some Epsom salt in there, and I throw some vetiver and lavender or any other oil that you think is very calming to your senses. Put that right in the bathtub. So sleep aids and supplementation. I don't really advise people to take over-the-counter sleep aids or a prescription sleep aid if at all possible. They're often super addictive, and you might have trouble sleeping without them. So they become kind of a lather, rinse, repeat kind of thing. So some natural remedies are essential oils diffused bedside. My favorite oils are, I mix Serenity with Copaiba, and Serenity is a nice soothing blend from the company that I work with. And Copaiba is just a nice, it helps with anxiety, kind of bring things down. But other oils would be vetiver, anything earthy, rooty, or floral helps. Epsom salt in a bath, or if you don't like bath or can't get in and out of your bath, a foot soak works quite well. Magnesium supplementation seems to help keep people asleep. Magnesium is a natural relaxer, so it will help keep you asleep. And a supplement that might be designed for natural sleep, such as the one that I love, is Insomnitol. And so Insomnitol has some natural calming herbs, and it has a little 5-HTP for serotonin. And it's just a nice mellow soother for bedtime. And consider GABA if you have trouble turning off your brain. Also, L-theanine or taurine are good alternatives with sleep. Again, I'm going back to some of those first slides. If you are interested in learning what neurotransmitter actually will help you based on your imbalance, let me know, and we can do a neurotransmitter lab for that. And I can also tell you how much GABA and theanine and things like that to use. Also, having a protein snack before bed helps you stabilize your blood sugars and helps you stay asleep. So here's another essential oil blend that you can put bedside to help encourage a restful sleep. Here's another one. This is called Lullaby, Lavender, Vetiver, and Wild Orange. I do use this brand of essential oils. But, you know, good high quality oils are important. So if you have something similar, go ahead and try that. All right, here's the what ifs. What if you have a partner that doesn't want to change anything about sleep hygiene? So rest assured, no pun intended, you still have some options. Because I know a lot of people share bedrooms and our idea of good sleep is not theirs. And that was evidenced by me with the television. We had television in our room for 26 years. So my husband didn't think it was a problem. I did. So what you can do in the spirit of good, better, best. So most of you know that I look at things as good, better, or best case scenario, because if we always go for the best case scenario, we're probably not even going to do anything. So I like to look at what would be good for you. Do your best to control your own sleep hygiene first. Try a sleep mask. I like a yoga eye pillow. It's just kind of a pillow that rests on your face as you're falling asleep. This is particularly good if your partner won't turn off the TV or get rid of blue lights. You can use an eye pillow that has a strap. If you're a side sleeper, a strap helps. Use earplugs if your partner snores or you have noises from the TV or technology in the room. Use a fan to create some white noise to kind of drown out some of the other noise that might be in your room. And an air conditioning sound machine. It's just a little thing like this and it goes whoosh, 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 you know. Use this if your partner doesn't like a fan or if it's too cold to use a fan. And the last one is sleep in a different room that you can create into your sleep haven paradise. So a lot of people are choosing to sleep in different rooms. You know, there might be some side effects to that, like not feeling connected to your partner. But if you can get some good sleep, that is super important. Also, maybe just sleep in the other room sometimes. All right, so I'm going to put it back here. Going back over to my meeting. Okay, so all right, so that was my presentation on sleep and sleep hygiene. So most importantly, what I want you to know is that you do have options in improving your sleep. And if you make some of those room options that we talked about and they just don't work for you, then perhaps we should look at neurotransmitter imbalance and cortisol production. I can also measure melatonin production. So if you have trouble with sleep and you've tried all the recommendations that I had listed here and you've given it a try for probably like a month, it's going to take a little bit of time for your body to realize what's going on, and that still hasn't worked for you, please contact me directly and we can work together to figure out what will exactly work for you. So I'm Dr. Teralyn. Please check me out at drteralyn.com and also subscribe to my podcast at kickoffyourdamnheels.com. And thank you for joining me today.